What you're about to see was a tactic sent to me in the comments of one of our tactic talks from previous times, and we're going to get into it. It looks like a doozy. This is the 424 Alhamdulillah, I don't know, but Dulila the second. This was sent to me in one of the comments, as I mentioned, in one of the previous tactic talks. And as you can see, if we go to the league table, it did really well for Liverpool. It did really well for Aston Villa. Not so much for Everton, though. Liverpool, 29 wins, 6 draws, 3 losses still. 100 goals for, which is really nice. 25 against, 93 points. Not the biggest total that we've seen from Liverpool or Manchester City when we were doing them, but 93 points is a fantastic job right there. Aston Villa come in second with 78. Manchester City tied for 78. However, the goal differential from Aston Villa with 40 just beats them out by 1. It is an amazing job by Aston Villa, scheduled to be 13th by the media prediction. Everton, though, 18, 5, and 15 with 59 points, just out of any European contention. It is Everton, though. They were supposed to be 16th. I will give you 8th is a fantastic job as well. I think we've had one other tactic that we've already seen that has given them, all 3 teams, a European spot, but this one is still a fantastic one to look at. Tactically, as you can see, someone else did mention that they wanted to see a 2-player up top formation. I'm going to try a couple more, maybe some 4-2-4s and things like that, but here's one, and it worked. So a sweeper keeper in defense. You get 2 wingbacks in support. You get 2 defensive ball-playing defenders. You get a volante in support, another volante in support, and 2 inside forwards on attack, and an advanced forward, and these 2 are both advanced forwards in attack, and that is your team. It is a custom, I don't know what champ is, but it is a custom Islam champ, is what they're calling it. A mentality of balanced, so that is interesting. Standard attacking with pass into space, overlap on the left and right, focus play down the left and right, shorter passing directness, higher tempo, and run at defense with low crosses. In transition, counter press, counter, distribute quickly, and roll it out. And then out of possession, high press line of engagement, standard defensive line, move, trigger press much more often, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, and get stuck in. And opposition instructions, nada. Schedule-wise, Everton started out really strong. Fulham, Man City, Nottingham Forest. 3 nice wins in a row, and then EFL Cup second round losing out to Aston Villa before losing out to them again 0-1. They beat Leeds in between. I mean, it just back and forth and back and forth. They lost to Liverpool, 4-1 against Southampton. Just a sea of red, though. Not a win in any of those spots until you get to Valencia with a friendly, the only friendly of the World Cup season. I find it weird when teams during the World Cup period only have one, if any, friendlies at all. It kind of makes me wonder, are they actually trying to do some work, or what are they trying to do? But coming back to the league, Leicester, a 3-1 win before getting thrashed by Manchester United. And then a nice month of January with a completely unbeaten streak. And then Nottingham Forest losing at home 1-0. They definitely finished the second half of the season is much better than the first. However, Liverpool 1-0 win in the FA Cup quarterfinal, Middlesbrough 3-0 win in the FA Cup semifinal, and as you could see, losing out to Manchester City 0-3 in the FA Cup final. But the last 2 matches of the season, losing out to Liverpool 1-2 at home, Aston Villa 2-4 at home. So overall, I mean, funny enough, if we go back home, what is the table? Everton lose out by 1 point in European spots to Arsenal. If they had beaten either of those teams, I mean, Aston Villa, I guess, were on a roll. But man, 1 whopping point. And if we look at Aston Villa's schedule, you can see a much bigger sea of green. Spotty with the losses to Manchester City. You can see there's that Everton 1-0 win. Liverpool 1-2 loss at home. But overall, a lot, like I said, a lot more spotty. Only 1 friendly. Why wasn't the other friendly purple? That's weird. It wasn't purple in the other one. Same day though. But you can see EFL Cup 4th round, they're getting a lot farther than Everton did. Manchester City FA Cup 3rd round loss. And then EFL Cup quarterfinal loss to Liverpool the game after. So they had a lot of games in January in that little time frame. So that is not a good month for them. However, continuing the season, spotty as usual. But so many greens there. Everton win 4-2. We saw that. Liverpool 1-0 away from home. So overall, Aston Villa did a fantastic job with this. And even friendly wins against Galatasaray, Porto, Salernitana. These two, Eintracht Braunschweig and VfL Onnesbruck, don't know either of them, but still wins against these three teams, which are pretty good wins for Aston Villa, I will say. Schedule-wise for Liverpool, still a couple of losses here and there. 0-2 to Leeds, 1-2 to Eindhoven in the Champions League Group F. But overall, wow. That is a sea of unbeaten right there. FA Cup quarterfinal loss to Everton. Bayern 3-0 wins in the Champions League quarterfinals and then a 1-2 loss away from home. Ajax 1-1 in the Champions League semi and then winning away from home. Oh, that was at home. Winning away from home 2-1. Guess who they get? Man City 3-0 thrashing of Man City in the Champions League final. Man City still cannot get that Champions League. So as we can see in the competitions, they won the league. They won the Champions League final. Knocked out in the quarters in the FA Cup. Winners of the Carabao Cup. I didn't even see that. Where did they win that? Liverpool over Tottenham 4-1. Not bad at all. Winners of the FA Community Shield. This is the tactic if you want to check out Liverpool. 4 trophies out of 5 is an amazing result. No question about that whatsoever. If we check out the league itself, stats-wise, Liverpool with 100 goals, Aston Villa with 87, Everton in 4th with 78. So close. Man City just a couple of points off. Fewest shots against, Liverpool 297. Most possession, none of them. Dribbles, there you go, Liverpool and Aston Villa. Fewest conceded, Liverpool 25 allowed in 38 matches. Most shutouts, there you go, 19 in 38, so half of them. Most tackles won, Liverpool. Wow, Liverpool there. Typically, you see the more defensive side, like Everton and Aston Villa, but best pass completion, no one. Most shots for Liverpool with 898. Aston Villa with 657, tied for second with Man City. 650 for Everton, and then Newcastle at 591. Liverpool with 898. Just shows how amazing their attacking threat is. Liverpool with 245, Aston Villa with 205 points per game, and Everton in 8th with 155. And if we looked at the player overviews, most goals are Erling Haaland with 31. Only 31. I will say that. Ollie Watkins of Aston Villa with 26. Dominic Calvert-Lewin with 25. Liverpool doesn't even show up until 16 with Mohamed Salah. I'm really wondering how much Darwin Nunez got. But most assists, Trent got 15. Emiliano Buendia, 14 for Aston Villa. Most player of the match awards, Erling Haaland with 10. Calvert-Lewin with 8, as in Mohamed Salah. Ollie Watkins with 7. Very nicely done. Most shots, Haaland with 158. Watkins with 115. Luis Diaz with 112. Salah with 109. Calvert-Lewin with 105. And Darwin Nunez, there he is at 104. So overall, expected goals 25. Salah, Watkins, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin all in there. Philippe Coutinho with 4 out of 4 penalties. It's nice to see his name there. If I am going to go and do just the individual stats, overall in all competitions, Mohamed Salah with only 31 goals. I do want to see if I go to the squad, the amount of goals: 24 for Nunez, 31 for Salah, Jota with 21, Luis Diaz with 20. And there you go. It's not just a one-man show like it was with Haaland. You had a couple of other players underneath him who are fantastic, but Salah with 31 goals and 15 assists. You got Nunez with 24 and 3, Jota with 21 and 5, Luis Diaz with 20 and 15. You have it spread out, and that is the beauty of Liverpool and why they are such an amazing attacking threat. But highest average rating, 7.4. You actually saw it was tied, wasn't it? Oh no, 7.10 for Darwin Nunez, but 7.38 for Luis Diaz. All of these guys, absolutely insane season for them. Most assists, Trent Alexander-Arnold, 21, and most player in the match awards with 13. If we look at Aston Villa, you can see Ollie Watkins with 28 goals across all boards, 730 for highest average rating, most assists, Buendia with 15, and then Philippe Coutinho and Watkins for 7 player of the match awards apiece. And then ending up with Everton, You could see 28 goals for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Not a bad haul whatsoever, especially compared to a lot of the tactics that we've seen. 7.56 for his highest average rating. Wow. That beats the other two very nicely. Most assists 13 with McNeil, and then Dominic Calvert-Lewin, 9 Player of the Match awards, leads the team in all competitions. So overall, this is quite a tactic. Everton raised themselves from 16th to 8th, so a nice 8 spots. Unfortunately, did not get into the European spots in the top 7, but 1 point away. Pick up some other players. Again, no transfers whatsoever are happening in these saves, so pick up some people in January, and you could have made that difference, I would imagine. But we've only had that one tactic that has had all 3 teams in the top 7 spots. Unfortunately, this was not one of them, but still, Liverpool in first, Aston Villa in second. This is definitely a tactic to look at. I commend the commenter on giving me this tactic. It is a fantastic one to look at and fantastic one to play with. So if you've used it, let me know what you thought about it below and how your seasons went, because I'm sure if you're doing a lot of these teams, they'll do fairly well. So, but that is it for me, Savvy FM for the Football Manager blog channel, saying thank you as always, take care, and enjoy.